The wait for the next generation continues, with rumors claiming that the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 will launch in early and mid-November, respectively. However, for all the numbers and hardware specs that have been thrown out, how will these actually change gaming as we know it? What improvements can be expected to one's usual gaming experiences? Well, let's take a look at 12 such features here. Native 4K. Gaming in 4K isn't necessarily new, as seen with PC games. However, native 4K gaming, that too at an affordable budget, is something that's been out of reach for many. The PS4 Pro and Xbox One X provide different solutions, from checkerboarding to native 4K, but the PS5 and the Xbox Series X will both be capable of native 4K out of the box for most games, while also offering a higher graphical fidelity and other features. These include fast load times. The first and most obvious benefit of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X is their solid-state drives. Both consoles are capable of super quick loading times, if not eliminating loading screens altogether. The PS5, for example, is capable of loading 5 GB of data per second with its SSD, which means instantaneous fast travel in games like Horizon Forbidden West. It will also help when booting the game up from scratch, respawning, and so on, allowing players to immediately jump in without any delays. Improved texture streaming. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart also served to showcase the benefit of instantaneous load times from the PS5's SSD, with the constant rift jumping and transitioning between dimensions being a core gameplay mechanic. However, even more impressive is how the texture streaming is optimized, delivering a constant barrage of effects at a very high quality without any noticeable slowdown. This also ensures that issues like pop-in and low-quality assets become less prevalent in next-gen titles. Quick Resume. One particularly great way that the Xbox Series X is utilizing its SSD is with Quick Resume. This allows for starting, pausing, and quickly resuming multiple games. So you can effectively suspend a game, hop into another one to play with friends, and when that's done, you can jump right back in with barely any loading and continue from before. Along with Xbox Series X games, Quick Resume will also work with Xbox One titles thanks to backwards compatibility, making this an appealing option for those going through their Game Pass backlog. More 60 FPS games and 120 FPS support. For a long time, the gold standard for games was thought to be 1080p resolution and 60 frames per second. While the Xbox Series X and PS5 can handle this more easily than their predecessors, perhaps more appealing is 4K 60 FPS, as seen in Halo Infinite, albeit on a PC similar in power to the console, and Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, respectively. But that's not all, as both consoles are aiming to run games like Dirt 5 and Halo Infinite's multiplayer at 120 frames per second. Granted, there will be titles like Assassin's Creed Valhalla that will run at 4K 30 FPS, but others like Ratchet & Clank offer an alternative 60 FPS at a lower resolution along with 4K 30 FPS.
Right now! Whoa! The dimensions are weakening considerably.
Ray tracing. Again, ray tracing isn't a new concept. It essentially makes for more realistic global illumination and reflections. However, it's been the domain of high-end GPUs and expensive gaming PCs. With the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, more people can experience its benefits at a lower cost. The effects can be subtle, from the reflections on Clank in Rift Apart, to several light sources interacting with objects to create a myriad of shadows in Minecraft. But it gives an organic vibrancy to environments, making them feel that much more alive.
Rocket launcher? Really?
DualSense. Besides the new look, the PS5's DualSense has attracted a lot of attention for its haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. The former provides different feedback depending on the phenomenon. In Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, feedback will vary depending on the direction of incoming attacks, mimicking Spider-Sense in a way. Meanwhile, the adaptive triggers give a unique feel to different actions, like the triggers jamming if a weapon jams in Deathloop, or recoil when utilizing attacks in Ghostwire Tokyo. Astro's Playroom, which is bundled with the PS5, will also provide a pretty good showcase for what the controller is capable of. HDR reconstruction. One of the key marketing points of the Xbox Series X is having all of your games playable on one platform, reaching back across generations. But what if there was a way to make those games look even better? Using an HDR reconstruction technique, Microsoft has figured out how to add HDR to older titles that never supported it, like Halo 5 Guardians and Fusion Frenzy. Even more impressive is that the technique is used at the platform level and thus doesn't require any additional work. The company also has plans to double the frame rates of older games, whether it's going from 30 FPS to 60 FPS or 60 FPS to 120 FPS. This could lead to a resurgence of interest in older titles, especially if they're on Game Pass.
Your family destroyed mine, Wayne. This, well, let's just call this good old-fashioned revenge. Get him!
Patch installs on PS5. Any PS4 player will tell you about the annoying process of patching games and how long it takes. With the PS5, Sony is changing how patches are installed. Thanks to the high speeds of its solid-state drive, which eliminates seeking, the console won't have to go through the process of making a new file when a new patch is live. It's not the biggest touted feature, but will definitely make a world of difference for next-gen gaming. Smart delivery. While PS4 to PS5 upgrades are a thing, smart delivery is still worth noting. Along with providing a free Xbox Series X version of a game to current-gen owners on Xbox One, it will automatically detect which console the game is running on and deliver the very best version. Progression also carries over between the different versions, and physical titles are also supported. 3D spatial audio. 3D spatial audio is one of the more intriguing ways that Sony is increasing immersion in PS5 games. Powered by the Tempest engine, it will create more fully realized sound that seem like they're being emitted from specific locations in 3D space. So if someone in-game is walking through an adjacent room, their footsteps will actually sound like they're coming from the next door. Headphones will be necessary to experience the full effect, though it still can be perceived through speakers. Project XCLOUD. Project XCLOUD allows for streaming certain Xbox titles to one's Android phone or tablet. It's currently in the beta phase and will be added to Game Pass later this year. And while it utilizes servers based on Xbox One S hardware, Microsoft is reportedly looking to upgrade this to Xbox Series X hardware in 2021. Not only will that provide bigger performance gains, but could also potentially lead to playing Xbox Series X titles on a smartphone or tablet via xCloud. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from Gaming Bolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.